morning or happy Friday. Welcome to another TradingView update. The sell-off in crypto markets is continuing, or at least continued overnight for Ethereum and both Bitcoin to drop to lows that haven't been seen for a couple of weeks. It does look like there's a chance of continued downside, at least for another day or so. But there are some kind of new support levels that we're now looking at. So let's dive right in. But I think we are getting towards the end of this sell-off or of this correction. A couple of reasons for that. Number one is the fear and greed index, currently at 34. From last week, where we had levels of greed at 74, now dropping to 34 in such a short space of time. That's a pretty serious shakeout of confidence. And this, despite the fact that the fact that we're still at $56,000, $57,000 for Bitcoin, and we're at levels of extreme fear, it shows you just how far we've come over the last year. And to me, points out that if there is more downside, there's not much more to it. The funding rates for Bitcoin are still a touch overstretched. And this is partially one of the reasons why I think there could still be a little bit room further downside. You can see that a couple of exchanges still at 0.5%, 0.3%, 0.4%. This leverage, I don't think we'll see a serious increase in prices until this leverage is completely shaken out. And we've seen that on the Ethereum side, where mostly across the board now you're flat or negative. I think the pullback that we're seeing on Ethereum is more to do with the fact that Bitcoin is dropping, and that's causing an overall sell-off in both spot markets as well as involuntary liquidations. Although it should be noted that on the Ethereum side, the forced liquidations are about half the size of overall Bitcoin liquidations, and we can see that in the 24-hour period here when you compare the Bitcoin and Ethereum liquidations. Looking at the graph real quick. Now, we noted back at the beginning of the month, around the 4th or 5th of November, how the price action that we were seeing play out over October was pretty similar to the price action that we'd seen over the entire first 6-month period at the beginning of this year. So we can look at that as well. You can see that here, where we had this area of sideways trading action, where we had new low or new all-time highs, similar sort of price action taking place, but you had this build-up or this price consolidation area beforehand, followed by a drop-off, of reaccumulation, price consolidation phase before we had the next move higher. Now, this is likely. I reckon this is something that we could well see play out again. So looking at some sort of path like this, where this 54K area is touched and at least tested, RSI coming down. Now, since July, we've found support at 34.84. So we're still a couple of points away from that, currently trading at about 38. So this is something for me. I'm looking at this area. Once this area is tested as support, if prices have moved down into the 54K area, that's when we may well see a turnaround take place. And again, it all depends on how the funding rates for Bitcoin look then. Interestingly enough, this area here is not only the 0.5 fib retracement between the September low and the November high. Let's see if I can show that to you. Yeah, you can see this nicely. Let's get rid of these. So you can see how this entire support area is in around the 0.5 of the September low and the November high. But also, when we look at it on a more macro scale, when we look at the entire bull run since March of last year to today, you can see how this area here at 54K is that 0.786 fib retracement level. So I think that a move lower towards him before we continue our run higher over towards the end of the year is now looking ever more likely. Finally, a word on Ethereum. We can see we've broken, again, we failed to hold really the 4,200 area. We're now testing support at 4,000, which is the local top from the 6th of September. I do think that if Bitcoin continues to drop down, then we'll likely see a similar move on Ethereum. I would say that what it seems to be shaping up right now pretty nicely is, can I get this path? Is that we might well see a move like this take place, where the price actually drops down, tests not only the bottom of the 2021 trading corridor that we've been in, but also tests the support that's coming through, which is essentially an extended line from the top on the 10th of May and the 4th of September. So having that previous resistance tested as support and then move higher. So they're the kind of levels I'm looking at as well. On the RSI, similar to Bitcoin, we've had this area of around 34 again has held on Ethereum for close to a year. I mean, we tested it on the 23rd of June, but if you look back, the last time the RSI was down at this level was back in March of last year. So if prices drop further down and we start to see the RSI near this 34 area on the RSI, then that's for me, given the overall macro bullish view of the market of where we're at, this is a pretty good level for an entry to the long side. That's it from us. Quite a lot today, but have a good weekend.